Hello, everyone out there on the internet. Welcome to Telling Tales. Tonight is Warhammer Mondays, and it's exciting. I was just thinking about how exciting it is that people might be watching from all over the world, seeing us play Warhammer. It's probably not true. It's probably like 5 people down the road. Well, down the road, around the area. But it's pretty cool to think people, I don't know, Indonesia and Mali and places could be watching us play Warhammer. Anyway, welcome to Warhammer. We are telling tales. We play atmospheric and moody roleplay, and we we stream them for you here on Twitch, which you might know if you watch on Twitch, or if you watch on YouTube, then you'll know we put them on YouTube. So check out the other if you didn't know that, or whatever. We also have social media and other stuff, so check those out in the list below. We run various other weekly sessions and other things. So as well as Warhammer on Mondays, we're currently running Into the Odd on Wednesday nights, and we're doing Wraith, which is part of the World of Darkness kind of story arc section. So Wraith, I think, is the second last of that story arc as it's currently planned to run. And it's been kind of a contiguous story across different World of Darkness. It's pretty cool. I haven't caught up with Wraith, but I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, that's Thursday nights. We also do one-shots every month. We had one just last weekend. We're playing Merkborg, returning for a second session in Merkborg. We did one last year as well. But we've done those for well over a year now. Got all sorts of stuff up on YouTube. We do a different one every month. Well, I say that just as we repeated one. So we usually do a different one every month, but we didn't just that month. We just played. Never mind. Anyway, so tonight's session is Warhammer. So we'll get to it. I don't know anything else I need to do. So yeah, bring on the players. And first play, I'm not going to make the same mistake I did last week when I had no idea who was coming on first. First time this week is going to be Justin. Justin, who plays Boniface.
Hello.
Hey, Justin, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How's it going?
Good. Yeah, good. So why don't you tell us how we started last session?
So we just arrived at this tavern on atop a smithy, and our benefactor was treating us to some food and a night there. We basically surveyed the scene and saw that there was a load of Midlanders engaged in some kind of I think was it just maybe a game or something
game,
like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also there was like some guards and things like that who we tried to do some gossiping with. We tried to get a bit of information.
Mm-hmm.
So we found out things like that Grunberg is generally quite peaceful. But there are some petty thieves down by the dock. But the main drama around town is that the council is having a bit of a falling out over something or other, and someone might get kicked out or kicked off or something like that.
Indeed. Yeah, but I think otherwise it was a fairly nice evening to have arrived in Grunberg. You had a nice sit down, a nice meal, as I said, with your benefactor. And then I think a few folks went off and did some fun stuff that evening. Now, was it your stuff to talk about, or was it someone else's?
I think next on we're going to have Jonny to explain what happened.
I see. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Hey, Jonny. So Jonny plays Okri, our dwarven smith. Well, now actually a smith, which is quite exciting. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. So what happened next then, Okri?
So we'd passed the blacksmiths on the way to the place that we were staying, and Okri has been keen to get his sort of smithing guild membership completed. So he headed down, had a chat to the blacksmith, a sort of very matter-of-fact and mildly awkward conversation, and found out that it was right and left and along the river and on the right-hand side. So he that was all he needed. So then he went back to the inn that we were staying at. Boniface had some great luck down an alleyway where he picked up a solid gold coin, an actual gold coin. Was very happy with himself. Yeah, and then walked basically straight into a large man carrying a blackjack. Boniface then realised that there was nobody around apart from another man standing behind him, blocking his way in that direction. tried to dodge around the guy in front of him, who then grabbed Boniface and asked if he had anything shiny for him. And Boniface then gave him a shiner in response, a nice black eye, and rolled a 2. So he really got him good, and then ran
Indeed,
off.
so spoiled my plot to have terrible things happening to the Boniface.
Yeah. And then Henrik kind of wandered around looking for rat catcher locations, places that he might be able to have a chat with fellow rat catchers. And then headed into a granary. It was dark, couldn't see anybody really, and then heard a noise from the other end of the warehouse, sort of panes squeaking, and then saw a figure that he hadn't previously seen sort of stand up from behind a barrel and start walking towards him in a long-nosed mask and carrying a dead rat. And after a brief exchange about rat catching and whether or not Henrik was here to basically start a turf war, this person named Matilda seemed happy enough that Henrik just wanted to learn and not take the rat catching patch, and invited him to meet both Matilda and some friends in the market square at noon the next day.
Indeed. And then I think that was kind of all that happened that evening. So everyone kind of gathered back, because this was still kind of after you'd arrived after your walk to Grunberg that evening. So you all gathered back at Gehenna's Goose, the tavern you were staying in, courtesy of Rorak, who you saved in the previous little mini adventure section. And yes, it was a nice peaceful night. You enjoyed your tasty goose and went to bed. And next morning, I believe we'll bring on Steve to talk a little bit about what happened then. So Steve plays Kruger, our increasingly better equipped warrior, who from Midland, from the north, who holds himself with the bearing of a lord, we shall say. How are you doing, Steve?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. Yeah,
cool.
So the next morning, Kruger got up bright and early, went down for some food, some breakfast, accompanied, I think, by Boniface. We found Rorak there already, and he had been on the way over to Grunberg, incredibly talkative, much to Okri's annoyance, I think. But it was kind of almost serious and a bit dour this morning, and he warned us just to sort of stop looking into things, not to investigate, not to stick our noses in essentially where we didn't need to. And then he took his leave.
Indeed, before you had a chance to even question him or anything.
Yeah, not really sure what's going on there, but I'm sure we'll find out.
Don't worry about. Sure,
it's probably fine. Probably fine. So Kruger was keen on getting some training in with this new Warhammer that he had picked up. So he went off to look around the town, find a barracks on the north side of town, and put in some training there. Also trying to talk to people and get an idea of basically some information about Lord Hellsconnect and maybe how to either find out more or get in touch. So yes, did a bit of sparring with someone in the barracks.
Yeah, did a very good job of sparring.
Yeah, this Warhammer is pretty nice, and also sounds like Kruger will be able to work as a local guard for a bit of coin as well, either on the walls or patrolling the docks, that sort of stuff. Meanwhile, Boniface had decided to try to get a bit of extra pay working at the like a house of officials. Whether they knew about him working there or not, basically the plan. So he snuck in there and managed to overhear some people in an office with a closed door talking about Lord Hellsconnect, but it was pretty quiet. It was pretty hard for him to hear them until suddenly sort of this weird feeling sort of overcame Boniface, some sort of the reverse of being underwater, sort of everything just sort of cleared up, and suddenly he could hear the conversation as if they were right next to him. And he heard that Lord Hellsconnect has been very odd lately. The Graf, this is Graf Rudolph. Randolph, sorry.
It's all right.
We've got it on the screen. Yes, he's going to kick him out. The Lord is wrathful as anything and struck down his own servant for bringing the wrong sword. They think he's gone mad ever since he got up out of his chair. And have you seen his eyes? Was the last comment that Boniface overheard before this sort of strange feeling left him, and his enhanced hearing or otherwise dissipated.
Indeed. And then I believe he made somewhat of a fool of himself actually trying to help the clerk. Yeah.
Yes, Boniface is not known for his skill at filing paperwork.
Well, not anymore, certainly.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So there we are.
Yeah. And finally, we'll bring on John, who plays Henrik, our rat catcher. Wide-eyed rat catcher. Maybe that's a good way of describing you. How you doing, John?
I'm doing all right.
Good. You want to describe the last bit of last session then?
Yeah. So I have my notes here. Apologies for looking down. So Okri went to the blacksmithing guild, which was to the right, to the left, down the river. Nope, I've forgotten.
To the right.
On the right.
And met with Master Frederick and basically got his approval to be tested for his qualifications, at which point he presumably made some nails and some hinges or something, and was given his official signed blacksmith qualification, which was very, very good. We're all proud of Okri. Henrik went to meet with a group of rat catchers at the market, and they went and did some rat catching.
Successful rat catching.
It's very successful. Much fun was had. There was also a conversation with Matilda, who was the rat catcher he'd spoken to the night before, where I remember she said something about Hellsnake, and Henrik asked how one would be able to meet him.
Yeah.
And she said, basically, just wait in line with everyone else or go talk to the guards and say something interesting.
Yeah, that was her advice. I think there wasn't much else from her, really. She didn't really gain much else information, I think, other than she kind of thought there was some drama going on in the council, but there wasn't a lot of extra from what we kind of already heard. So, yeah.
And after that, we all met up at the tavern. We applauded Okri for his qualification, usual good-natured ribbing of Boniface. And then Boniface told us what he'd heard and kind of how he'd heard it, and was under the impression that he was going through puberty. Henrik suspects some sort of blossoming magic ability. Maybe, as ridiculous as it sounds. Hasn't shared these thoughts with anyone, but did suggest that maybe Kruger should either go easier on Boniface or maybe put him under more pressure and see what happens.
One way or the other. Interesting things could happen. Yeah, indeed. I think that was about where we left off last session. So it was that kind of awkward conversation. So yeah, we're in the Gehenna's Goose in the evening. You've all kind of gathered together for your meal around the table. I think we were kind of saying it was later evening now. And yeah, I think it's kind of another nice night in the tavern. I'm just gonna because I really like this table. There's a I don't know if I mentioned earlier on as well, but there's a table in here which is just you find yourself in a tavern. It's just cool stuff happening in taverns. I'm just gonna roll it again because it's an excellent table. I really like it. Let's see what interesting thing might be happening this evening. Not that is necessarily relevant. Oh, that's great.
Is there an attack of beastmen?
No, there is not an attack of beastmen. So you're there tonight, and there's a gang of very, very bawdy and rowdy university students. Presumably, there's some sort of place to study in Grunberg, some place of learning, perhaps near the administrative offices that Boniface was working in the other day, or perhaps they're just traveling. Who knows? They're playing a game of Kerabis. No idea what that is. Sounds cool. Maybe let's say it's a little. I'm the GM. I can make up what it is. Let's say it's a little like sailing game. Grunberg is like a village of ship or town, small city town of shipbuilding. So it's like a that you have to like do little ship battles across a big river or something. But they're very noisy. They're very noisy and very rowdy. And they're kind of annoying you, really, almost. You're kind of struggling to talk over them a little bit, if you see what I mean. And just at the point that one of them makes a rather rude joke about Sigmar's sausage, the dean of it just so happens the dean of their college walks in through the door. You wouldn't know this, other than the fact he's wearing a robe and looks a bit like them. But they clearly know this, because they make efforts to jump up and run through the back door of the room while the dean is yelling at them. This all goes on in the background while you're having your conversation.
Nice.
Don't need to have any reaction. I just fucking love this table. It's great. It's the best table.
I like to imagine this all the camera is just focused on the four of us sitting around saying nothing while all of this activity is going on, like completely blurred out in the background.
Exactly. And it's worth saying as well, I didn't really mention it, but in last session we had those bits of character stuff. Everyone was leveling, everyone was spending a lot of XP that they got from the first few sessions there. So Kruger and Okri both went up a character level, so that's why Kruger now has some better equipment, and Okri is officially a Swiss and has better equipment too. Go on, John.
So did I.
Oh, did you go up like... Oh, sorry.
I went up from rat hunter to rat catcher.
Oh, what
and I
trappings did
went
you get
up
with
status as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, apologies. Now you're all silver, aren't you? Or are you still top? Yeah, you're silver as well. Oh, that's pretty good.
Does that mean that Henrik now has to catch his own rats instead of Rinda doing it for him?
No, Rinda went up a level 2.
do you not
Rinda's
trade your dog
got a
in
bow
for a
tie
better
now.
model, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's whatever my 4th career is, one of my trappings is large and vicious dog, and it's not clear whether that replaces my small but vicious dog. Or
I
if
think
get an
it's very
additional
clear
dog.
that Rinda develops to be such a ginormous, hulking size from eating nothing but like rats fed on God knows what.
I love that idea.
That he
like
just
that
becomes
idea.
like a kind of like Hulk dog.
Rinda is perpetually just in early stage until that final level.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get to that point. Rinda's going to become a large dog, and then I'm going to adopt another small dog to replace the previous trappings.
That makes perfect sense. What new trappings did you get, by the way, John?
I got some poison, some animal traps, and a pole for dead rats.
Nice.
The trappings did not describe what I do with the pole. It just said pole for dead rats.
So that all happened because I don't remember acting out specifically in the last one. So that happened when you were in that big warehouse doing that rat catching. So you made some friends there, as well as Matilda, and you were all kind of shop swapping some stories. And they give you a few poisons and other bits and bobs that might help you move forward in your career a bit. Now it's quite a friendly lot of rat catchers you met, Cool. I think people did a little bit of XP spending between this session as well, because I said in town it's still reasonable, but we won't go into that too much because nothing significant happened, I don't think. The other thing I was going to say as well before we get going was I said last time we're having a little bit of a conversation about money. Basically, the money system in the game is much more long-term and much more subsistence, and maybe you'll make cool stuff in the side. So given we're in active roleplay, I'm going to play let's play that and say that Kruger didn't specifically work because he was kind of doing the sparring and get himself acquainted with the guard, so maybe he can do if he wants to. Okri was getting a smithing qualification, but Henrik and Boniface did work effectively. That's a bit mean now because I said that previously because I didn't realize Henrik leveled up, but you worked. I've already said it. So I'm going to roll a silver for Henrik because you successfully achieved your job. Okay, so you get... that was a good roll. 19 silver. Damn. And it was a well-paid job.
For one day, or is that a week's pay equivalent that needs to be scaled down?
That was one day. That was the maximum I could possibly have rolled.
What?
Well, 20 is the maximum I could possibly have rolled.
The base table for working is for a week's work, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm being very generous. You're all good.
Very generous.
And
we'll just note here that he's being too generous.
Hey!
I'm the GM. I can decide this.
You picked up a gold coin, so
yeah, you got
hey, I worked for that gold coin, and you don't know that.
Boniface, you get 8
metagaming.
You get 8 brass.
You know what? I take back you being too generous.
8 brass and a gold coin
that you've just found.
And you got to punch someone in the face.
I can punch you. You can punch me in the face if you want. I can punch you in the face back, and we can just keep going.
you're in the tavern this evening, and this has happened. This ridiculousness of the students happened in the background. I think you're all kind of wrapping up. Unless there's any, is there any particular kind of conversation you all wanted to have beyond what was last session, or folks kind of go to bed, see what the next day brings at this point?
I think we ended up last session with a quiet conversation between Kruger and Henrik, which was presumably after.
I think that's the case. I'm kind of imagining, Henrik just brought Kruger to the side when you were getting him some drinks at the bar or something. So it wasn't when you were all off.
Okay.
But maybe you're kind of all back together and you're kind of maybe headed to bed. If no one has any specific intentions for chat, then the only other thing that happens, I think maybe I'm going to roll the dice. Oh, perfect. Everyone else has head up, but Okri, you're just kind of maybe tidying up the table a bit, and you kind of always feel you kind of always inclined to be a bit polite to hard-working folks in taverns and things like that, just making it a bit easier for them. And you hear kind of a loud clomping up the street behind you, and turn around as the door swings open widely, and a very chunky, heavily armed and armored dwarf walks in, followed by two more directly behind. And they're clearly and distinctively mountain folk. There's no way that these Dawi are from the lowlands. They are wearing garb of make you've never seen. Well, you've seen before, but you would never see in the cities of Sigmar unless people were traveling. And they are speaking in Khazalid. So you ask Khazalid, don't you? So you understand what
I do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's up to you. You might just watch them. It's up to you what you want to do, if you want to approach them or not. But they kind of just walk in and they're muttering just about, they're literally muttering about the craftsmanship of the tavern and the places they arrive to settle in. They haven't really clocked you.
I think I'll probably sort of, continue what I'm doing. Maybe slow down a little bit so that I've got a bit more time to assess what may or may not be going on.
Yeah. Okay.
If there's anything of interest.
Sure. I'm trying to think if there's any. There isn't really any sort of association role for, because obviously we've got the heraldry for humans, but there's nothing for Dawi, is there, for dwarves? Thinking about it, so I don't really know what to do with that one. It'd be nice to have a role
to sort of figure out.
Yeah, to figure out where they're from, or who they are. I'm trying to think what the most appropriate thing.
A knowledge.
Dwarf polls have like color coding or something.
I've got dwarven law.
Yeah, roll dwarven law. That's perfectly reasonable. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
It's not great, but I've got it.
Well, it's better than not having it. You can roll it.
I rolled a 7.
Oh, well, you're perfectly fine then. Yeah, so you recognize these dwarves. I'll give you a little bit more because that's a lot to settle. So you recognize these dwarves. Not only they're from the... my brain's just gone blank. The mountains to the southwest of the Empire, which have a name which has just completely gone from me. Grey Mountains, thank you. The Grey Mountains. There's many clans of dwarves from the Grey Mountains, but you recognize this as Clan Ganvalga of Carrick Nairn, and a few other Carricks as well, but Nairn is their capital. They are from not too distant, not too far from here, as in a distance, but certainly not across the world sort of Dawi. And they're quite friendly with humans as far as you know. They do travel in this area sometimes, but it's still unusual to find them just in a tavern in an imperial city without very specific reason. Dawi travel for a reason. And yeah, I think let's say they're known for their excellent tinsmithing, which is a nice little flavor thing. And yeah, they settle down. I think they continue conversing. One of them's like looking underneath the table and like bashing on it a bit, and then sits up and looks around and goes, "Fellow Dawi," and he says that in Imperial first, presumably not knowing if you do speak Khazalid.
I will respond in Khazalid if I can.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. What is your Khazalid?
It is 31.
Yeah, you can respond with greetings.
I can say hello. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine.
I'm just gonna if you're talking about like saying you can understand what they're saying, but saying complicated things is going to be a check.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a nod of approval. You don't get more than that. And then I think in Khazalid, then one will reply. You're from these parts?
Not exactly. Nearby.
Nearer than us, I imagine. Well, always good to see fellow Dowie.
Same.
Too late for ale. I thought as much. I think the other one, they've clearly been walking a long way and they've got like mucky, like big iron boots and everything like that. And the other one just leans back and looks like that and gets out a pipe and starts smoking and is just looking at the. I think I said there was 3 actually. He's looking up at the ceiling, and one of them's fiddling with a dagger. So there's only one chatting to you. He's kind of clearly older, probably 200, 250 or something like that. Big long grey beard hanging to kind of knee level, about what you'd expect for a Dowie at that age. So certainly someone to be respected, and I mean, ignoring the fact probably just they're a mountain dwarf is kind of a thing for you already.
Yeah. On your way somewhere?
Aye, well, you look like a trustworthy sort. You know, Skazmingol, not far from here. You can roll navigation.
I've got 25. I rolled 49. So no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was going to be a standard. You've never heard of it.
Okay.
You know what it means, by the way, because it is a Kazalid word. It means Watchtower of Thieves.
I'll just be honest. I don't know it.
Well, not much to know. It's not far from here. It's the Dieserberg, I think they call them, mountains to the south. You know of them. There's like a mountain range that's kind of to the south of Grunberg, on the borders. Well, not quite on the borders of Reichland, but in that direction. Aye, well, can't speak of what, but something was found there. Old treaties. Lords here asked for help. Seemed, well, time to bring up some old alliances. We've settled. Temporarily, perhaps, in the old Carrack at Skazmingol.
Apart from Helsconnect, are there any other lords' names? I basically want to run the names by them and say, is it any of these people?
I think Kruger probably mentioned, or was it Kruger? Someone would have mentioned Graf Randolph, because that was a name that came up in the previous session at some point. Was it you? No. Oh, Boniface. Yeah, that was mentioned in conversation though. So yeah, Graf Randolph, who is the head of the Council of Grunberg.
So say Graf Randolph or Helsconnect.
Aye, lad. Randolph. Well, I think great grandson or something. He I think I knew him. Great grandfather. Was a good man. Don't know much about the younger lord. It's worth saying Graf Randolph is probably in his 50s or 60s.
Yeah. Yes, short lives they lead.
Indeed. Don't know how they get anything done. Anyway. Times to make allegiances. Dark things sometimes we need to make friends, eh?
Aye. Speaking of, perhaps I should return to mine, but I hope to see you again.
Perhaps our paths will cross.
Good night.
And you sleep well. Don't let the grobby find you in the night. It's a standard Dowie. Good night.
And then I'll head up and was I sharing with anyone? I can't remember.
No, I think you had separate rooms here.
Okay. I'll sort of knock on whoever's is the nearest room that I would get to on the way to mine.
Sure, I'll roll for it. Let's see. That will be Henrik.
There will be instant footsteps, but the door will not immediately open. Hello?
Henrik.
Evening.
A trio of Dowie downstairs. Been called upon by this Randolph fellow. Something found in the southern mountains.
Did they say what?
No, but they made reference a couple of times to something dark. Could be related.
It's Rinda. Walking back. Fine. Do you think you could get them to say any more?
Do you have any ale?
No.
Do we think Kruger or Boniface might have any ale?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no one has enough ale in their rooms to satiate 3 dwarves at all.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know where the landlord/lady is sleeping? Where their room is?
I don't think you would. I think you just know it's behind the bar. You could go have a look.
How worth it would it be to a barkeeper to wake up and serve 3 dwarves?
3 dwarves.
3 thirsty dwarves. Let's go. I'll head out. Close the door behind me.
Should we get the others?
Yes. I'll go wake them. I imagine your kinsman may be more friendly with you.
That seems fair. See you in a moment.
In a moment.
As you come back down, sorry.
Sorry.
As you come back downstairs at Ockery, 2 of the Dowie are already asleep, and the other one, the one you were talking to, and the one who was fiddling with a knife. Let's say the one smoking and the one who chatted to you with a big long beard are both men, and the one fiddling with a knife is a Dowie woman. They're all wearing similar garb, though heavily armed and armored, and they all seem of approximately the same age, all older Dowie. Certainly kind of elders of their clan, and venerable and to be kind of respected. Perhaps here on a diplomatic mission, you might guess, given their age, but that's a total guess. It's up to you whether you want to go talk to the smoking one, who is the only one awake. Probably the oldest looking, a very old looking Dowie man at the back, or just wander straight on past the bar.
I think I will probably head to him and say, I am gathering my friends. I thought we could try and wake the owner and have some drinks. Do you think they would be willing?
There's like a long huff on the pipe, and then a long exhale of smoke, and then a pause of 5 or 10 seconds, and then aye, sounds good.
I'd have probably discussed with Henrik actually who was going to go try and wake the
I'd
owner?
have volunteered to go wake the owner once I'd gotten
Okay.
Kruger.
In
and
that case,
Boniface
Henrik,
up.
go wake the others up first.
Okay. I will go to Kruger first.
Cool.
Knock on his door.
Mute. Yes, there'll be a sort of a few seconds of noise as Kruger comes to the door, and then opens it, without particular guile or Henrik.
Caution.
Yeah, no caution.
3 dwarves have arrived, saying that Graf Randolph has called them about something mysterious found in the mountains. We're going to go wake up the innkeeper. Have some drinks. Okri thought it may be interesting to meet them.
That might be right. Yes. That's they might be interested to hear our stories of what befell Wallen. It was Wallen, wasn't it? Yes.
Yes. Perhaps. But I suggest we try and listen more than we talk.
Okay.
Although, if there's anything you know about Dowie, they're not necessarily instinctively talkative, so that's going to be an interesting affair.
Henrik knows nothing.
I see. You're going to go get Boniface as well then.
Kruger, I believe your servant will listen to you more than me. I will wake the innkeeper.
Okay, Kruger, you get Boniface, then we'll do the innkeeper.
I will hammer fairly loudly on Boniface's door.
Yeah. What's going on?
There's a party of dwarves downstairs. Henrik suggests that it might be of our interest to engage them in conversation. And have a few more drinks.
I see. Sure. I'll be right down. I'm getting up. I'll be there. Right. I'll be right down.
Henrik, waking the innkeeper, and I want Boniface to roll endurance to see if he can stay awake after Kruger's closed the door. So Henrik, what are you doing?
I'm going behind the door, knocking on the back door, seeing if that gets any answer. If not, going in until I find another door, and then knocking on that door and repeating the process.
When you knock on the first door, you hear some footsteps, and then someone on the other end of the door doesn't open the door and goes, "Bar's closed."
There are 3 dwarves here.
I was just settling in.
I know.
Do they look rich?
They look thirsty.
Yeah, but do they look rich? They look pretty rich. You walk past.
Yes.
We'll see. And then the innkeeper comes out, a fairly, a kind of round, bearded man. You've obviously met a few times before at this point. Surly looking, but fairly respectable otherwise. Nods at you and goes, kind of grumbles as he goes past. And then goes and heads to the bar. Justin, could you roll endurance to see if Boniface stays awake after that door is closed?
Yeah, sure. That is what he is best at.
It's easy, plus 20. Well, no, I'll make it an easy. That's mean. Plus 40.
That's plus 40.
Yeah.
I get the exact number.
There you go. I was going to make it.
I mean, he's a 17-year-old who's been drinking and is woken up in the middle of the night.
Well, it's his master, though. If anyone else had done it, I would have made it a normal. But since it was Kruger, it was an easy.
That's fair.
You stay awake just. So everyone gathers downstairs then, presumably. I know it's funny, we didn't have to roleplay that wake up scene, but it was so cute. I liked everyone waking everyone up. It was nice. Yeah, are you as you come downstairs, Okri, are you kind of settling in on the table with these two? It's worth saying that the older Dow you're smoking hasn't said another word or really inclined anything to you. The other two are still asleep, unless you've done something.
As Kruger, once there's sort of a couple of these three in the room, I'm gonna make a semi-loud proclamation in Kazaleed, just to sort of, and here are my friends, and hopefully stir the sleep, or at least one of them enough that they can wake the other one.
I'm gonna roll perception because that's fun. Okay, that's terrible. And that's terrible. They were both rolled over 80. So, yeah, no.
I'm going to put in for the first round of drinks.
That's a good idea.
And suggest to the innkeeper that he not keep it quiet.
Gotcha. I am gonna charge you for that round of drinks, though.
That's fine. How much is that?
I haven't looked up the cost of drinks, actually. I probably should. So if someone wants to look that up in the background, that'd be real handy.
Yeah, I can do that.
I think Justin, though, look, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, Okri, the other two Dowie do not stir whatsoever at your proclamation, and the oldest of the three of them is smoking and is kind of still looking at you. This Dowie as such is so old and has such a big beard, you can't see much of their face. You kind of see like this bit here, and the eyebrows are so large that you kind of don't see a lot of that. So it's just kind of small, like dark eyes and a giant nose. That's all you can really see among like large quantities of hair. But you do see those eyes kind of move into a slightly crinkled, clearly a smile, at your utterly failed attempt to wake the other two. Okay, so I will say for a round for everyone, we'll say 1 silver there, Henrik. Are you gonna thump them down on the table?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do a perception, but this is an easy one. Okay, one of them, the Dowie woman, wakes up and looks around, and without saying a word, just starts drinking her ale. After having like half down this pint, she stops and goes, not bad, and then elbows the other one who was asleep, who was chatting to Okri, who just goes and like swings, and then goes and then also downs said pint without saying much more, and makes a similar noise, and then looks up and goes, "Well, who's feeling generous, eh?"
This round was on me.
These are the friends I was telling you about.
So, what do you want?
I simply wanted to introduce them to some of my dwarven brethren.
Now, come on, lad. You don't just go buy an expensive ale just because we've shown up. You've never met us before. You've got a plan.
I didn't buy the expensive ale. I'll say in Kazaleed. I'm laughing.
The woman slams the table, and all the mugs jump like an inch in the process as she starts laughing. You see the older Dowie continuing that kind of glittering eye smile in the corner, but they don't say anything more. Yeah, Okri said that in Kazaleed, so no one else understood what got that joke.
Nope.
Is everyone else just kind of sitting now at the table slightly awkwardly, just kind of been smiling?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if Boniface has got up successfully, then he'll have like maybe just sitting on the stairs, like maybe leaning against the banisters, like half asleep.
I think in that case, the most talkative one who was chatting to you, Okri goes, "You can invite the child over if you like.
I'll drag myself over to the table.
Assume they're not talking in Kazalid unless I say, because they're not trying to be impolite to everyone else. But Okri's joke, obviously. So yeah, you heard that, Boniface.
Yeah, I drag myself over and sit down.
There's an ale for you too.
It's a shandy.
I doubt that. If only that was the case. Yeah, Boniface will sip the ale.
So, have you travelled far?
Aye. Been 12 days on the road now.
See anything interesting during your travels?
Too bright. Too much sun up here.
That's
No.
Miss the caves.
Hmm.
But aye, some interesting things.
Any strange creatures in the forest?
Killed a few. Yourselves?
A fair few.
Good on you. Must admit, this is still feeling more like an interrogation than a friendly chat. Down's rest of beer.
He's a rat catcher. He's always on the lookout for something.
Damn beasts. Good job, that.
Thank you. Do you get many of them in the caves?
Depends how deep. They usually only get in so far. Well, depending what kind, I suppose.
As in different colours or sizes?
Sizes. Breeds. Walking on 2 legs or 4. You must know what I mean.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Sips ale. Doesn't break eye contact.
There another one coming then, is there? Might feel more inclined to answer whatever question you want.
I will cover this one.
A silver coin then.
Yeah.
Barkeep's fairly happy with this. Just watching, somewhat bemused behind the bar, wondering what you're all up to.
So what brings you to Grunsberg?
Grunberg. It's worth saying, actually, I suppose it would be, let's say it's only 8 pennies because you don't have to top up the rest of the ales quite so fast.
That makes sense.
Was mentioning to your friend here, we're here for, well, to meet with people. Important ones. Things going on in the mountains. New friendships, you might say, or at least renewing old ones. What's this to you, anyhow? Why are you all so interested? Just seem like you're some town folks or something.
I'm going to be keeping an eye on Henrik and just seeing whether he's likely to be more forthcoming. Doesn't look like it, does it?
There's a small village called Wayland that recently had a large amount of misfortune, partly through the actions of a council member here in Grunberg.
You mean,
well, the
directly?
inactions.
The inactions.
That's a mighty fine difference.
That's all. We hear he's caused quite a stir on the council.
Well, can't say we've met them yet. Not much I can help you with there. That's tomorrow's job.
Well, perhaps I was hoping to speak myself to someone on the council to learn more about the situation and report back to Warland. They were quite eager to hear of hear what was going on and I guess whether the council will be able to help protect their village, given the situation, given the absence of protection they've had so far. Happily, we were able to repel a fairly sizable attack, but it shouldn't have happened, I don't think. And it was unusual in the first place.
Attack beasts from the forest, eh?
Beastmen, yes, of various sizes, but they shouldn't have got that far. It was quite unusual to see them there.
Don't see many around here normally. Well, which one on the council? Might be handy to know.
The lord whose duty it was to protect Warland, I believe, was Lord Helsknecht.
We'll keep an eye on him then.
It seems like that would be a good idea. Yeah.
Well, since you've told us, we'll tell you something, I suppose, in return. The darkness mentioned at Skazmingal. Don't know everything of it myself yet, haven't been. We're going there next. But I know it's got the council here mighty scared. They couldn't deal with it by themselves. Whatever it is. Need dwarven hands. Dwarven make to fix it. Something very wrong.
Could it have anything to do with the Beastmen not being where they're supposed to be?
Could be to do with anything dark, I imagine. Not specifically, though, that I'd know of. More likely them rats. Damnable Skagaraki.
I think... Lapses into silence. Drinks some more ale.
Stares in the distance.
Silently wondering whether saying we need to talk in private is too much of a private thing to say in this relative private.
You give a look. I think Henrik can give very expressive looks.
Henrik does nothing but give looks.
Exactly. He's very well practiced at it. I think Boniface will probably lean over to Kruger and try to say quietly, maybe successfully, maybe not, what's going on? Do you really think all of this stuff down in that village was to do with the lords up here?
Yes. Weren't you listening?
And what's all this about rats? I thought...
Now that I don't know.
Oh, good.
It's always about the rats.
Well, it's a big world out here.
So, where are we at? What's the situation?
The Dowie who was talking to you stands up and goes, well, seems like I'm dry. Time for another round. This one's on me, I suppose. Slams his drink down, despite the fact you haven't drunk most of yours. So it's
Yeah,
just
are there
around
like
to them, really.
3 drinks sitting in front of Boniface?
You've been sipping it. Yeah, they're just sitting there. Another round comes out. It's up to you whether you stay to drink.
I said, I won't need all of these.
They're just like an image of Boniface's head, like there. They're just like this, just like.
Okri's going to be keeping up with them.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm going to, in an act of camaraderie, try and down the rest of my current drink. Would you like me to roll for it?
No, you're all good. First drink, no rolls.
Okay.
Okri, though, keeping up, will have to make a consume alcohol roll. If you're doing just the 3, then I'll give you a +20 roll.
Success.
Well done. So yeah, you're not feeling the effect of it. You know, it's just enjoyable. Is anyone else keeping up with the Dowie? I'm looking at Kruger. The only other one who might.
Yeah, go on.
Consume alcohol +20 then.
What's the worst that could happen? You've got a servant to nurse a hangover. You'll be fine.
Let's have a look if I can find my dice. Okay.
First consume alcohol rolls, I think, this isn't it?
Unfortunately,
second, I think. Second.
Oh, there was one.
We did get drunk in the previous place too.
Yeah.
What'd you roll?
What was it? +40, did you say?
+20.
+20. Yeah. No, I rolled a 94.
94, yeah.
Fine.
How many
didn't throw up?
How many success levels off is that?
Toughness bonus is 40, so that's going to be 5.
A few.
You might throw up.
Hang on, no,
I
because
think-
+12 things.
I think the table, including Okri, all down their drinks, and Kruger, you managed to down yours last, and you put down the ale, and you feel absolutely fine as you finish it, and then all of a sudden you just start leaning sideways, and
I think one failed
you don't really know what happened, but you're on the floor, and there's hearty guffawing of the Dowie and any of the other player characters that choose to join in.
I think like
Boniface, what do you do as you see Kruger fall straight off the table or off his stool, having apparently downed an ale too much? Are you there, Justin? Go on.
Yeah, I'm good. Well, yeah. Okay, if Kruger is really that drunk, which would surprise me, then I would talk about how slippery these chairs are. And help him to his feet. Although I would say that you to get stinking drunk, which is the condition of being stinking drunk, you have to fail a number of consume alcohol tests equal to your toughness rating.
Thank you. I will. In that case, I only gave you that one thing because you downed and you failed. You're not actually drunk. You can't get up and be like,
but
I'm
you
fine.
do get for each failed test, you get -10 to weapon skill, ballistic skill, agility, dexterity, intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And to a maximum -30.
Thank you for checking the rules. Of course, there's a rule for consume alcohol in this game. Of course, there is. So yeah, it just hit you all of a sudden and it knocked you off the chair. You're back up and you seem to be fine, but like, it just went straight to your stomach.
I will curse the
It is a slippery
workmanship of these chairs.
I would like to
Short
suggest that
chair.
Kruger's immediate proud response is to demand more ale. I almost want to make you roll a check to not have the strong desire to prove your own tolerance to alcohol here.
I think Boniface is going to get up and loudly start rebuking the innkeeper for his shoddy chairs.
Steve, roll me a cool roll for Kruger to see how you play it off, and also how much you have to prove yourself.
Cool. Okay. Well, that is
+20.
Okay, I need to roll under a 68 for that.
At the point where he starts shouting at the innkeeper, I put my hand on Boniface's shoulder and push him down to the table.
The innkeeper
Gently
already
back
looks like,
into his chair.
while they're vaguely enjoying this scene, they could go to bed at any time.
Can I not make an intimidate roll to try and get another round of drinks out of him?
We'll
We'll be in lawyers with you.
I rolled a 2.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. You have absolute control of the situation. You get up coolly and calmly, just kind of like,
take a moment.
That was just a moment. Absolutely fine, and you're perfectly fine. You're sober as far as you can tell. But
And Henrik, you're silver status now, aren't you?
Yes.
Then I won't. If you're asking me to sit down, then I respect that.
Oh, I've got new power.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah. So then the same Dowie gets up after that and goes, right, another round, and stands up and goes to the bar and brings over another load of ales. Doesn't do one for Boniface at this point because clearly they're not being drunk.
I can distinctly just too quickly like disperse my ale too.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to pretend. They're not forcing it down the child. Henrik, if you haven't drunk all yours as well, you won't have one in front of you. Don't worry.
I downed my first one. Is this another additional round?
This is the fourth round now.
Okay. I skipped the second one.
You shoot two more to keep up.
I'll down it.
Okay.
I'll try and down it.
I see. That's fine. Okay.
Down
so
it, rat catcher.
In that case, Kruger, are you going to stay and keep drinking as well? I'm already assuming Okri is.
Oh, go on. One more.
This guy goes,
That's
the spirit. And 100%. Everyone roll a consume alcohol roll except Boniface, who's just sitting there watching like.
I was my first drink, just sipping it.
Now, is this one modified by?
So the last one I said was a +20. I'll do a +10 for this, which isn't a standard modifier, but I like the idea of gradually shifting.
Okay, but do I get any negative modifiers for failing?
Not
the
to your
last
toughness
one,
bonus. No, it was other things that it gave you that Justin read out. I think so. I think you're okay.
Cool. Okay.
Would you like the good news or the bad news?
Give me the bad news.
The bad news is that I rolled a 0 on my digits. And the good news, which would have preceded, is that I rolled a 0 on my 10s. That adds up to bad news.
That's
bad news.
Yeah.
It's definitely bad news. So, yeah, if you have rerolls, you can use them. You'll get them back next session.
You are a dwarf.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yes.
It's the one reroll you have is going to go on consume alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, I had lots of other
it
stuff
is.
planned for this session, but apparently we're just drinking, so it's great. I love it.
I rolled a 15 this time, so
Okay,
Kruger's good.
I got a 10.
You're all good.
That's better.
Sorry.
I rolled a 19. So that was three success levels.
Yeah, you're all good. Everyone is fine with this fourth round. It just something about that last. Maybe it was the drink. Something wrong with it, Kruger. You're fine now. You know, your head's swimming a little bit from that one, but you're all absolutely fine. Yep, everyone's keeping up well. I think this Dowie. I think the woman slams her mug down first of ale first, and then actually tankard, not mug, and then looks around at everyone and goes, "Aye, you're all doing well. Come on then, another round. This is fun." Is anyone particularly engaging in a conversation?
I don't think we've got a chance. I don't think we've got a chance to breathe.
I'll get around.
Cool. Yep. So go for. I said it was under a silver, but how many was it? 12 in a silver. Yeah. So say 8 for everyone who's not. 8 pennies.
I'll remind everyone they can spend a point of resolve to ignore the negative modifiers of being drunk until the end of the next round.
Which isn't that useful when we're doing. I mean, that is round in combat. I don't know if that definitely counts as round too, doesn't it? Yeah.
Doesn't specify.
It's written.
5th round of tankards of ale is put down by Okri.
I am wondering whether this alcohol is loosening lips, as it were.
I think it's starting to have an effect on
It might be loosening your lips. I'll tell you what, I'll do a first roll for these old Dowie, because that seems fair. I wasn't going to do many rolls for them, but we've reached.
I was thinking more of us, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, only you've been affected, though, so far from the roll. So you're tipsy, everyone else is fine. So it depends how you want to play it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it'll have higher consume alcohol than that. Fine. And that is... that's a critical success.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. The Dowie seem completely unfazed. This is a standard check now for this roll, so no modifier.
I succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I also succeed. 24.
How you doing there, Jonny?
I've rolled 100 again.
That was your only reroll, correct?
How?
That was your one reroll, wasn't it?
Oh my god,
Yeah.
you only get one. Oh,
Yeah, the dwarves do not get rerolls. So that is a genuine 100 from Okri. Okri, you finish the drink and then it comes straight back up. Straight back up in that mug. You're just holding tankard. You're just holding the tankard and you're finishing it, and then it's just back down like that. And you can try and hide it as best you can, but everyone knows exactly what just happened.
Oh, God.
I'll just place it on the floor.
that's killed the mood.
Yeah, I think it does kill the mood a bit. The guy next to you just looks over like and kind of gives you a slightly disgusted look.
Shame.
Boniface, would you fetch a bucket?
My apologies. I must have eaten something strange.
I must have been that.
If Boniface doesn't look like he's moving quick enough,
I'm moving quick enough.
Well, I suppose we could finish it there for tonight then. No need to push things any further. A bit looking around the table.
Another drink tomorrow after your meeting.
Aye, we'll be here one more night. Might be interesting.
Really?
You don't have to join us, Boniface.
I might do if Okri continues to drink at this pace.
Okri, you're not feeling well. Like,
poor chap.
You know, you kind of you don't want to throw up anymore, but you kind of feel like you could.
This is my best brush. This is. It's my only brush.
I'm going.
It's still my best one.
I'm going to wait as well as I can because I think that leaving early would be another mark.
Okay, give me a cool roll just to see if that's fine or if that's difficult.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
If you roll another 100 now.
No, I rolled 86.
Oh,
it was a standard, so yeah, you can stay, but you're changing color and you're looking unhappy, and you're kind of like doing that thing where you're like, oh, you know, like kind of retching a bit in your throat and holding it back, and it's not subtle.
Did Okri fail 4 tests?
No, not alcohol consume tests.
Kruger, help me get him outside.
Technically, Okri is not very drunk. Okri just threw up because got a critical fail.
Great. That's good. Great. Great.
Yeah. If you're, I mean, you can get your stuff outside just fine if you want to. Okri.
Do you want to, or are you trying to be proud?
Fresh air could do some good.
I am going to try and be proud until the point where I think it would be more negative for me to stay than to go outside.
I think at the third retch and like a vomit-smelling burp across the table, you decide.
We're supposed to be lovely stars tonight, Okri.
Yeah,
maybe meteors.
Please
you run out.
Excuse me.
You run outside quickly, and as you do, you come out straight into what is now a heavy rainstorm, right over your head.
Rough,
Great.
man.
Advantage for what? Yeah, advantage for what you do, which is immediately throw up on the pavement outside the front of the tavern, having tried to hold it in.
I might tell the dwarves that we just had some horrible run of luck of food in this place. Upset stomachs all week.
Yeah. Avoid the goose.
Avoid the goose.
in Gehenna's Goose, where they only probably sell goose.
Are you saying this in front of the innkeeper, who we woke up in order to tend to us?
If you turn around, the innkeeper's already
if
gone.
The innkeeper is like, "Oh, that's the straw that broke the back of this not on me." I really like them until Boniface insulted my goose.
Throwing up in the tankard, that's fine, but presumably the innkeeper left at some point during.
I think at some point,
this is the last round conversation, and they're not there anymore. Yeah, so is that kind of, are you just going to excuse yourselves? Are you going to hang around a bit, ask anything else? They're just, now we aren't really saying anything much more. They kind of let back in their seats. The woman looks like she's gone back to sleep. Nothing is interesting to keep her awake now. The older man smoking the pipe is still smoking and just looking at you with twinkling eyes.
Is there still a fire burning?
Yeah, smouldering.
Then I'll ask them if they want me to put some logs on before I go upstairs.
No, used to the cold. Bit warm in here, to be honest.
Open a window. I'll be going. Takes bucket. Takes much.
Yeah, they watch you go, saying nothing else. Go on.
Yeah, so I think Kruger's slightly inebriated now. So yeah, were we going outside with Okri, or did Okri just run?
It's up to you. I think Okri just sent himself outside, but sure. You followed.
Yeah, I think I probably sort of as I'm heading off, say something about the Graf isn't happy with that Health Connect fella. Don't know what's going on, but there's something at play.
Politics. And that's all he says while kind of stroking his beard.
And Kruger will kind of, walk. Hopefully walk slowly.
There's a slight
sway. It's like a yes.
But that's all. You're fine. You kind of do that thing where you stop at the stairs and go, and then go to the stairs, Excellent.
I
Go on.
look forward to speaking to you again, but one never knows what is listening. Good night. And then also take my own, maybe slightly weaving stroll.
Deliberately weaving.
No, I think it's not it's a very straight line.
I see.
It's a very determined straight line. When someone is like, I'm not drunk, look at me, I'm acting sober. It's that.
You hear the Dowie mutter something behind you as you walk away, but you don't quite hear what it is.
Okay.
Cool. Okri, presumably you just go straight by up to bed after you've come in from outside.
Just stay outside all night.
Don't come back in.
Just leave.
I do think Okri would probably stay outside for a while.
Okay, that's fine. It's pouring rain.
In the hopes that they would go to bed or fall asleep in their chairs again or something, so that he doesn't have to interact with them on the way back through.
It's pouring rain out here, by the way, so you get soaked.
I just imagine Okri just taking 2 handfuls of his beard and pushing it into his own face.
I understand the weather, but I still think it's preferable.
Yeah, that's perfectly fair.
For a decent pit, 5 or 10 minutes, in the hopes that they just doze off or go.
Yeah. It's quite dark now, and as you go, you see it seems like the lanterns inside. One of them goes out, and the Dowie don't seem to attempt to light it, so it's pretty dark in there. And you head back in, and you hear snores coming from the chairs. They're still there, whether they've gone up or not. You can hear snoring. You don't know if all three are asleep. The oldest one with the pipe looks not to have moved an inch, so you suspect they're still awake.
Okay. I'll probably get to the. Is there a door to where the stairs are, or the stairs just there?
No, it's just stairs there.
Yeah, I'll probably get to the bottom of the stairs and some kind of slurred Kazalead, presumably, say good night. And then not wait for a response and just head upstairs.
Yeah, you don't hear one come your way. Okay. Everyone has a nice, peaceful, possibly quite long sleep that night. But yes, it's a nice, comfy place to stay. Nice, comfy sleep. I'm going to say this is the last grace period, so I'm going to have thinking about where you're going to stay and how much it's going to cost you after this. But we can worry about that after. Other stuff might happen that might mean you want to stay other places anyway.
The place is going to burn down and be full of rats.
Burning down from rats, just burning rats everywhere.
The whole place, it doesn't have any walls. It's just rats holding up pieces of paper.
Henrik has a dream about how the whole building is rat walls with paper over the front.
And he wakes
rat
up
floors you're walking on, paper covering. That's it. The whole everything. It's a wonderful dream, Henrik. You kill millions of them.
As soon as I wake up, I will spend about 10 to 15 minutes wandering around my room, knocking on various pieces of the wall to make sure it's wood.
I love it.
And listening for the scurrying of tiny feet. Or not tiny feet.
Yeah.
So everyone wakes up, had a good sleep. It's quite late in the morning when you wake up. Kruger, you have a small piece of scrappy parchment slid under your door.
Okay. I will pick it up, somewhat bleary-eyed perhaps, and yeah, what does it say?
It says in very badly written Imperial, in what looks like ink splashes and all sorts on there. Not in a handwriting you recognize. Meet under docks by the fish market tonight. Down the stairs and under the pier. I can tell you more about Baron von Helsknecht.
Interesting. I will pocket it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And the tavern downstairs is already quite lively. Presumably lots of people up. Is anyone saying they are not coming down immediately? Otherwise, I'll just have you all gather.
Other than my 15 minutes of knocking, I'm going downstairs.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm happy to say most folks are there kind of broadly at the same time. So you all gather up for breakfast. Yeah. We're saying there's no sign of the Dowie from the mountain this morning at all. You can ask if you want, but you haven't seen anything of them. And yeah, you're all gathered together.
How are you feeling this morning, Okri?
Grand.
Good.
I feel so bad for Okri. It was like the best day yesterday, and then it just turned into that. Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
Do you think we might be spending much more time out in the wild again?
Well, we have to carry on to Nuln. We haven't figured out transport yet, have we?
Might be worth going down to the market and getting some things for the journey. I was thinking I really could have done with a cooking pot or something on the road.
What's that? And I point to the cooking pot you've got attached to the back of your backpack. As per my character art.
How dare you, Justin?
That I just forgot. It's paper. I've drawn it on. I need a real
paper it's paper like the walls of this inn that are being held up by those rats.
Paper. Everything's paper. Paper.
I would say, yeah, that seems a good idea. Although I do have business to conclude here first before we move on. And yes, Henrik, you might be interested to have a look at this, and I will slide the note onto the table in front of us.
I will take it and read it. Is it just ink splotches, Sam?
There's bad handwriting, splotches of ink. There's no signature or anything like that, if that's what you're asking for. It looks like the ink was just spilled a bit in the process. Oh, okay. You mean like mud
no
or blood
paw
or something.
prints.
It's pretty mucky.
Yeah, I was more thinking of, signs of small creatures running across it.
No, there's no immediate... There's no rat paw prints on the piece of
paper. Interesting.
It could be a trap, of course, but... I don't know who. I don't know who left it. I've only spoken to. Let me think. I mentioned Helsknecht at the barracks, and we talked last night. I don't think I mentioned Helsknecht elsewhere.
I mentioned Helsknecht to a colleague, but I can't think why they'd reach out to you.
Still.
And if it is a trap, do you feel confident in our abilities?
Oh, if If
there
more
is
than just me is there,
violence,
then we've taken Beastman down. I don't have a particular. I'm sure we'd prevail.
Marvelous. What was the time on the note again, Sam?
Sunset.
Sunset. So we have the day until then.
Sorry, I realised I actually said tonight, but I didn't intend sunset.
Right on.
So it's just go on. Sorry,
I was going to say what is the rough plan of Grunberg? Like, how far is the market away from the docks?
It's not it's a town, not a city. You could walk across one end to the other in like half an hour, probably. So it's not a huge distance. The market's not far from the docks, though. So the market's the market's where Ockree was for the smithing apprenticeship training thing, sign off. And the docks are kind of before that, effectively along the riverside. There's quite a long section of there, but from the description you got, you imagine you could figure out exactly where in the docks they mean. Closer to here, not far away.
All right. What were you saying, sorry, Steve?
I was just going to check the details of the note in terms of it. So it's just badly written Imperial.
Yeah, just an Imperial. I mean, you don't know what to make of. You're not professional analyzing writing or anything.
The docks. That's where I heard the thieves were hanging out. Better be very careful if you're heading down there. I heard that they'll jump anyone in the street or in an alley. Dangerous.
I can try.
I haven't said anything about thieves.
I said it just the other night. I said, I might not have told you, Henry. I told my master. There are thieves down by the docks.
Fantastic
And
news.
in the rest of the city, I assume.
The barracks did say that the docks had seen some trouble recently. So, yes.
Well, I will tell you, sir, at a respectable distance. If there's any trouble, I'll go straight to the city guard.
Okay. Thank you. I think. So, do we have plans for the day ahead then, other than the market?
Yeah, the other thing that was mentioned was the market. Did anyone else have anything specific they wanted to do? Go meet with anyone else, investigate something, try and find something else? I'm happy if you do. Otherwise, you could have a kind of post-lunch trip to the market, perhaps a leisurely morning after your night of drinking.
I would like... There's probably going to be... I'm only saying this to fit it in with the day's itinerary for the GM. But after we leave the market and head to the docks, once we get into the docks, I'm going to separate from the group and find somewhere to pay my tithes.
Excellent. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, well, that would probably make sense because I imagine that would
Don't frown at me, Steve.
Near the edge of the market. Kruger disapproves of your...
No, I don't...
I'm not announcing this. I'm just saying that I'm going to be leaving the market soon enough to take a slight detour.
Okay, well, let's first of all, the group, you all leave generally together as you head to the market, and it sounds like that's kind of agreement of everyone. Just to see what you can find, perhaps see what you can buy. First of all, because I love the tables in this game, I'm just going to roll another fun one. As you're heading out...
If it's more thirsty dwarves, we'll probably...
oh, well, I know that's got to
bypass them.
So, Kruger, you are heading out from... Well, you're all heading out from the tavern, but Kruger, you practically run into a young woman of a similar age to you, who you grew up with in the town of... Can you remind me of where you grew up near?
Grossfurrer.
Grossfurrer. Yeah, so she's a young woman, kind of bright ginger hair, a furious look on her face. As always, you remember her. She's a fearsome fighter, and you had a bit of a crush on her when you were younger. You haven't seen her in quite a few years. You've been traveling on the road for a while. Midlandlander, obviously, is yourself. Let me find the name, because I've got my name thing down here.
kind of want Boniface to say, like, "Oh, my lord, some sick got in your boots from
It has
last
to be.
night."
Her name is Ulrika. Just runs into you, and you kind of both look at each other for a split second, just like open mouth, like, and she goes, "Kruger."
Ulrika, what brings you here? I've not seen you for years, or months, or whatever it was.
Same for yourself. Just passing through, really, seeing what I could find. Ha! What are the chances?
Pretty slim, I'd wager. Yes, we're headed to Nuln. So yes, we're only passing through as well.
I was heading north, following some stories of beasts. Heard there's been a few attacks. You killed anything lately?
There has. Over in Warland, there are, beastmen raided the place. It's in a sorry state now, but we were able to drive them back. Got a couple of good kills.
Excellent. Anything to shout about? Any big ones?
There was a big old. I presume I don't know that. Would I know the name of it? Cow-like thing. Horns, massive horns.
Oh, there you go. Well, she can go. Oh, Minotaur. Ha! Wow. That's very impressive. Presumably not by yourself. Find strong friends like these, eh?
Oh, they helped. Yeah, they helped.
Looking around to the group. Anyway, I've got to be traveling. It's good to see you again, though. She slams you on the shoulder.
Yeah. Well, good to see you. Safe travels.
Where are you staying, fine lady? In case we need to call on you for some services, or Kruger might remember something.
Well, I'm off to the wilderness actually, but I'll be back in a few nights probably. I'll drop in here, see if I find you. How about that?
Yeah, sounds good. I'll leave a note if we travel on.
Thank you. Take care, Kruger.
You too. Good to see you.
And she wanders back down the street with one further glance back towards you and then heads off. Everyone else notices Kruger's expression perhaps soften a bit as he sees Ulrika there. And that was just a lovely little table that's like, how do I know you? When you meet it and run into someone. That was nice.
Well, sort of, there'll be a moment of before sort of Kruger then sort of straightens up again and
love it.
Stands up straight, straightens clothing, strides on with purpose.
Does anyone say anything at all? Cool. Okie dokie. Heading to the market then. So let's see what the weather's like today, because I like I'll show it off again. My nice little weather dice. Oh, now my screen has just decided.
Now your screen's decided. It doesn't mean anything.
My nice little weather dice with like rain and cloud and stuff. And question mark. Okay. I don't like question mark. I'll roll again. It's just a cloudy day. Just a bit of a grey grim day, but it's not raining. It's not particularly interesting otherwise.
Good.
Yeah. It's probably about lunchtime now. I think you got up quite late. You're wandering down the street towards the market. I'll bring up the picture of town again, because that was quite a nice picture. That was. 1 second. Oh God, why are you asking about file types? Just open the damn thing. There we go.
Well, so, sir, that's fine friend, sir. She's someone from back home.
Yes, back up north. Odd to see her this far south, but good all the same. Small world, I guess.
You're here.
True.
Oh, the fine walls of the city. Every time I see them, I shiver with fear and also wriggle with disgust.
I think now you can see why the Dawi were kind of kicking everything they went by, and we're like, it's all the human constructions in this world. Can everyone roll me a perception, please, while they're wandering down towards the market? It's a busy day. There's lots of stuff going on, but there's a particular thing that might just catch your eye. Everyone do it at a -20, except
miss it.
Henrik, who will be flat.
-20.
Yeah, hard one.
I would have to crit. I'd have to better than crit to get that. I'm not wearing my new helmet either yet, by the way. So because otherwise I'll be another -10, and I'd be. I do not make it.
I'm going to re-roll and get exactly the same. I fail.
Okay, no problem. You all head down to the market, and absolutely nothing is wrong.
Brilliant.
I love doing that as a GM. Yeah, so there's actually a bit of a show going on in the market when you get down there. It's not quite the level of a festival, but there's bunting out, and there's some people doing like a fire dance and a fire show. You know, fire breathing, and they're dancing with the sticks of flames and everything. That's quite a lively day, and there's peasants cheering, and there's someone handing out like roasted chicken legs, which look really not very nice, but you know, whatever. Nearby the fire dance, and there's a few things going on. The market seems to be lively, and there's lots of activity, and yeah, lots to buy perhaps as well. So what do people want to do? I know you said you wanted to go and give tithe, John, so I'll go to you for that in a second.
Did you say me next or me first?
Well, I'll tell you what, since we've got the group all in the market, you'll probably join them in it. So let's do you first, actually, Henrik. I've changed my mind. And everyone else can have a think about what they might want to buy or look at as well. I've described things. So yeah, you were just going to go to give tithe. So you're just looking for a shrine of Ranald, presumably?
Yes, which I would probably, before we reach the market, split off from the group and navigate round to the docks, because I feel that's where it's most likely to be as the roughest part of the town.
Yeah, that makes sense. The docks are kind of on the way too. So you know what? It's Ranald. So I'm still going to make you make a perception roll because it's a new place and you don't know where they are. Any other shrine, you wouldn't have to do this, but it's an easy. So plus 40.
Sure. Plus 40 perception.
This good old perception is the one you roll most by so far.
Oh my god, I'm re-rolling.
How many of those do you have?
I don't. Apparently, according to my notes, I haven't used any.
Well, you just used like 2 today, haven't you?
Used 1 today.
Oh, okay. So you didn't look at your alcohol. Doesn't matter.
Well, that's much better. That's a 9. That's success. There's many levels of success.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. You pretty much immediately look exactly where you'd expect it, which is kind of next to one of the fish stalls. There's a nook underneath a building. It's actually the back of a bank, which is kind of where you'd expect to find the Shrine of Ranald. Just kind of made by people. It's not, official. It's just people have bodged things together. There's a wood and there's a nice stone, and someone seems to have carved an idol, which is, I think, a little hand like that, isn't it, or something? Can't remember exactly.
It's a collection of things, because Ranald doesn't really have one particular aspect.
I see.
But it can be like a hand gesture. It can be crossed fingers. Sometimes there's a figure with a hand behind the back, usually with the crossed fingers if you turn it around, or it might just be a magpie or a cat.
I like the cross fingers. I think this one is going to be a little cross fingers. It's got not a full sculpture, just like on a piece. There's just a carving on a piece of stone that seems to have been lifted from the flagstones. You head over. There's some coins, quite a few coins laid on the shrine that no one seems to have touched. Silver and pennies, and then a couple of other items. Just like things like little bits of parchment is one thing that people seem to have written notes on as well. But a few other things there. So yeah, and a few other valuables.
Nice. I'm going to. Was I going to round up? No, I am going to take from my coin purse 1 silver and 11 pennies. No. Yes, 11 pennies. I'm rounding up slightly. As I gained 19 pennies, I am paying my tithe of 1/10.
Perfect. I love it. You
like 1 silver coin and a little stack of bronze.
You pass on your coin and perhaps say a few words as you do so while crossing your fingers. Just as you've done so, a rather rough-sounding voice from behind you goes, "Ain't seen you around here before."
No, I doubt you have. Turn around.
As you turn around, you see what looks like one of the dock workers, a burly, chunky, rough-looking man with wooden teeth and wearing kind of a bandana, smiling at you quite happily.
Can I help you?
Name's Brandon, and extends a hand.
I will shake it.
Always nice to see the tithe being paid. Many people here forget. Doesn't go well for them when they forget, though. Ranald
No, I
doesn't
imagine
forget
not.
these things. Making a pretty penny then, are you?
I'm a rat catcher.
A lot of rats about. Always a lot of rats about. Where are you from then?
Altdorf.
Ooh, the big city. Went there once. Shiny. Smelly, though.
It is. Especially the sewers.
Mm.
Do you get many rats here?
Well, I'd say yes, but I suppose not compared to Altdorf. Bet you get some big rats there.
Yes. Very big. I've been told there are bigger. Haven't seen them yet, though.
Always like folks who are good to Ranald here, me. Me and my friends were, well, let's just say, you ever need something found out, we could owe you a favor. Seem like the sort who's looking for something you do if you're here.
That's very kind of you. How would I contact you?
We're always about the docks. Just, he looks to his side and says, "See that crane over there? There's like a crane for loading into boats and stuff.
Yes.
Stand by the lamppost just next to it. Lean up against that. Couple of minutes. One of us will find you. Bring something to trade, though. Nothing comes free."
Of course. 1 in 10 for Reynolds. It's always good to throw a bit to others. Thank you.
1 in 10 to Ranald, indeed.
And
Take care.
if you ever have any rats you need dealing with, I'll be around.
He gives you another big grin with his wooden teeth and then stomps off down back towards the docks and the boats. Okay. Sorry, go on.
Come on, Rinda. To the market.
Cool. I'm just noting Brandon at the docks. Okay, that's just entirely come up with at the time because that was a fun character. Okay. Back at the market. Did anyone have specific things they want to do, or you just kind of wander around perusing?
Yes.
You said some stuff, didn't you, Justin?
What prices are we looking at, and can I haggle? I'll go my book prices more or less.
Yeah, I was going to say book prices more or less, and you can absolutely haggle. This is a town, so book prices make sense. There's a fair amount of stuff here, unless you're looking at something particularly exotic. You're not going to have to struggle to find it. So yeah, just let me know what sort of thing you're thinking.
Well, I think what would I rolled 15 on my haggle, so I think I'm going to.
Tell me what you're looking for first.
Well, I've got a list. I want to get a pan, a cooking pot, a plate, and a bowl because I can't do my servanty stuff out of town without the accoutrements of my trade. I also want to look at a leather jacket, but then I think basically I'm going to have the choice between buying the things I need to do my job and buying a cool leather jacket, and probably siding with doing my job.
Gotcha.
Surprised.
I think you look around a little bit, and then you first of all come across a kind of big market stall and like wagon set up in the market square that's called Cookware of Tal, Mighty as a God, which is pots and pans and plates and all sorts of kitchen utensils and wares you could imagine. I mean, it's got the name of a god on it. It's got to be pretty good, right? You muted, Justin.
Yes, you're completely correct. That is 100% what I'm looking for. So, yeah, but what I've got from pots and pans and things is it's about not super much. It's I need to get that's 10. So it's about 17 silver to get a cooking pot, a cooking pan, a plate, and a bowl.
Okay,
a lot of money.
So you can haggle away. There's a big, round, fat-faced man who looks at you and goes, "Look like you need some cookware, young man. Come here. I've got all the best stuff you'll ever see. Look at the shine on this pan. You could shave in it. You could."
Wow, that is a shiny pan.
You couldn't shave it.
I would. Yeah, I rolled a 15 on my haggle, and which is full. 3 success levels.
Okay.
I think it goes. You can get up to like 10% off on a within normal, and I think like the maximum you could possibly get would be 20 if you've got 6 successes.
Yeah, that's all good. So you were going to say 17 was what it adds up to in total, right?
Yeah, but if he was willing to chuck in a backpack to complete the look, I would go in for. I would round it off to whatever.
Does he have a backpack? He does have a backpack for sale.
How
much is a backpack?
A backpack is just under 5 silver. Okay. So the whole thing together would be 22 silver would be the total price ish.
Okay. So he says 22 silver in total. That'll be look, you'll never find finer than this. You never will.
Well, I'm just getting started. You're my boss. He's so hard on me. He hardly pays me anything. And the best I could do, this is my first day on the job, and he's told me to go out and get all these things. I've barely got the list together. I don't think I'm going to have enough for everything. Can you do me a bit better than 22 silver?
Oh, you do look penniless, I must admit, you poor lad.
It's
I'll
true.
tell you what, 21 and 5 pence. There you go. That's a good deal. You won't find finer.
21 and 5 pennies. Well, I'd really hope to save enough for a jacket, but I guess.
You're looking pretty pitiful because you roll pretty well. Fine. I'll go down to 21. That's as low as I can go. 21 silvers, that's it.
All right, then. This is my plan, gold coin. and
his jaw just drops straight down.
Well, my master is a fool, as I said. And I pay him the money, which takes me down to basically nout. Well, not nout, but
you could always.
Did you sneak off?
He hasn't actually paid you.
I didn't sneak off. I'm kind of over by the thing. The
gold
coin is pretty secret.
Unless people have said they're separate, I imagined you're kind of milling about together. So Ockery and Kruger are probably nearby while this trade is going on, but you're not watching in detail. Henrik, maybe you can drift in at some point as well when you want to. Boniface, you acquire all that for 21 silver. As the guy just kind of goes, wait, as you get up the gold coin to pay him with, and then reluctantly gives you silver back in change.
Fantastic.
Wait, no, it's 20 silver.
It's 20 silver to gold, yeah.
Yeah, so 20 and the silver.
I need to give him a gold coin and then 2 pieces of silver and a bit of change, but I'll work it all out.
Cool. Yeah, you've got yourself a load of good kit there.
Great.
Did anyone else have any other particular intents of the market? Did you want to go browsing, weapons or armor or equipment or anything like that? Or just go and watch the show? Get some good
I'll
food.
probably show Kruger all my things and go look what I got. I got stuff for us if we want to go on the road, We're all set up. Bright, sparkling new pans.
They do look quite shiny.
How the hell did you afford that?
I convinced them. I've got a winning smile. You know that, boss.
I don't pay you. How did you possibly get that?
They pay me well. They pay me well at the admin building, as I said. But look, I've got all this stuff.
Oh, that's excellent work, I guess. You do know how to use them, I hope.
I'll work it out. How hard could it be?
Ockery, the craftsmanship is mediocre. They won't fall apart, messy.
Presumably, for human craftsmanship, it's not terrible. Then.
Oh yeah, not terrible.
Yeah.
Certainly does the job.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I
didn't say he said anything. He probably doesn't say anything. That's just Ockery's
I
perspective.
don't see Ockery making me any pans anytime soon.
You haven't asked
nicely.
Yeah, I think I'd probably just watch the show for a bit. Yes, in terms of encumbrance, Kruger with breastplate and helmet and Warhammer is actually kind of fairly loaded down.
It's a good thing you've got a servant who's got a backpack.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
you might have to hang on to my sword.
If you want to sell anything as well, if you do have anything extra, you've got. I don't know if you've got enough stuff yet. Feel free.
I'm kind of tempted to hang on to a spare weapon at the moment. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah.
I What is the difference between a jack and a jerkin in terms of armor? Is it just that
jack
has
covers
a
your
sleeve?
arms, which means it has sleeves, which means it's a jacket.
That
And if
makes
you buy the leather jacket I was looking at, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Boniface has been staring in the window of a
Absolutely
shop.
buy the leather jacket.
Well, you just spent all your money on cookware.
For all of us.
I'm gonna go buy a leather jack.
Yes.
Boniface won't know this because I'm going to buy it and then duck into a back alley and put it under all of my numerous layers of filthy fur and fabric.
I'll allow it, but I think you'll have to wait for an opportune moment to find one where Boniface isn't ogling it. He's a teenager. He wants to buy leather jackets and he can't afford it anymore. There's definitely a time where you can buy it, but
if you want to roll a perception to see if you can detect Henrik's.
No, I don't want to.
That reminds me though. Everyone roll perception again.
No.
If you could, same difficulty as before, so -20 but flat. Was it that? No, -20 but flat for Henrik. That's what I said.
I succeed.
Okay.
With no success levels. One success, the normal success levels.
Yeah, one is stat.
I do not succeed.
Okay.
I'm going to spend another fortune. It's my third one.
We do have a success.
You say
So
-20, Sam.
John, don't. Well, it doesn't matter. It's basically in the session. Yeah, -20.
Then I do not succeed. If I don't succeed and roll a double, does that mean anything bad?
No, that's only in combat. There is an extra rule you can use for that, but I think it gives you too much crit, so I don't like it. By like a 5% each end is good. Boniface, you kind of feel your hair's just standing on end, like something's wrong, something odd is going on. You kind of feel like someone is watching you. There's eyes on you from somewhere, and you don't know where, and you're in a crowd, and you can't detect from where, but you've got that creeping feeling.
And so I can't make any kind of roll to work out where it's coming from.
It's just so busy here. You have no idea. You look around and you're just like, you can't see anyone in the crowd looking at you, obviously, but there's so much going on. It's just one of those weird feeling moments, when you can feel your instincts telling you it, but you can't detect anything no matter how much you try. It's worth saying that I feel like Boniface isn't the most subtle person in the world, so do you?
No,
Does it
whoever
show?
I'm nearest to, I will express these feelings to.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine I'm probably nearest to Kruger by default, unless Kruger has gone off and done something interesting.
Yeah, not at the moment, no.
Well, then I'll express... I've got this horrible feeling that I'm being watched. I think somebody wants my pants.
Craig will just do a circle, just sort of, not being stealthy, just sort of, looking around.
Sure. I mean, you can give me a perception roll, another one. I'll let you do that. That seems reasonable. But it's still a -20, just because you had another chance at the same thing, effectively. But you'll get a bit more if you succeed.
I do not. No,
Mm-hmm.
Perception is not Kruger's
I figured.
strong point.
You have no idea what he's talking about.
I can't see anyone, Boniface.
Well, I don't know. It's just a feeling. I get these feelings sometimes. Probably one of those puberty things.
You do talk about that a lot.
I've grown 2 inches this year.
It's worth pointing out that Boniface is like 5'1" or 2 or something.
That's why it's so important that he grew 2 inches this year.
Only just taller than Ockery.
Oh, you should be careful. You don't buy anything you'll quickly grow out of. Then
That's a good point. I think my growth spurt will come any day now.
So I'm getting the impression everyone's kind of happy at the market. Otherwise, just checking out what's going on, everything like that. I mean, Boniface isn't anymore. Boniface is feeling weirded out, unsettled. So maybe you want to head off pretty soon. What is the plan with this evening then? Unless there's anything, I'm going to say this day kind of passes because you're a bit hungover anyway, and there's no other particular plans. Are you going to get back together at the tavern to have a chat about the approach? Are you going to hang around the docks? Is Henrik going to go and do something else, or are you going to wait on that? You know, what's the intention for this evening?
Well, I presume we'd at least have a chat beforehand somewhere. I guess it doesn't have to be at the tavern, but
you could just chill in the market if you wanted to. If you thought that was on the way, say you're in the market in the afternoon, you know, sunset would be a couple of hours away. You could just hang around on the water side if you like, or something.
So my intention would be to turn up at the prescribed place alone.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be particularly stealthy about it.
Would you let Boniface tail you? Irrelevant whether you actually want it to happen or not, unless you actually see him.
I mean, I was going to. It definitely seems reasonable to have someone, you know, keep an eye. So yeah, whoever that is.
I'm not telling you with a massive backpack in the pants.
Did you just to get an idea for that conversation? Did you tell Ockery and Henrik you intend to go alone?
I would have done, yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, if either of them, you know, profess.
Role play the circumstance. What's your reaction to that? I'm just curious what you think.
I guess Ockery just nods.
Yes, Henrik, Ockery. I don't. The note didn't say anything about just turning up on your own, did it? It was just
nope, nothing.
But it was addressed to me, or it was just okay.
Yep. You have no idea if it was addressed to you specifically, or it didn't matter. You know, it could have been anyone, or it was like, you know, implication was you only. You don't know.
Sure. Well, I suggest I see go there, see who turns up. If either of you feel wish to come along, that's up to you. I would obviously welcome support, whether it's nearby or whether you keep an eye from afar. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what who this person might be.
I'm certainly more use nearby.
And I will be watching from afar, I think.
Very well.
Okay. So, I think we'll move to that point then. So, the intention is what you found the location without too much difficulty. The instructions made sense. There's a pier, one of the larger piers near the fish market, with some stairs down underneath the pier that lead to kind of a mucky bankside along the river, kind of below the level of the what's it called, the edge, the riverside. It's been built.
The bank.
Yeah, the bank. You know, the stone pit.
Wharf
or something. Yeah, wharf. That's a good description for it. Yeah, so it's below that along the riverside, and there's kind of wooden piers coming above you, so it's quite like dark and dank and covered over and sheltered here. There's water dripping down. It really is dark. It's sunset and there's no lights down here, so you probably are almost doing that in front of your face if you don't bring a torch or a lantern down. Do you choose to do that, Kruger?
I don't know. I think that would be sensible.
Okay, that's fine. I'm happy for you to have just picked up one on the way. You don't have to. You can just have a flaming torch. You don't have to buy that. Worf, yeah, thank you. Yeah. So who was nearby? So Okri, are you basically with Kruger? Is Kruger happy with that?
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, if Okri's just there, is there any advantage on me being stealthy, sneaking beside? Probably not. In which case, I'll probably also be there.
You could hang back a bit if you like, but you're not sure how.
Yeah,
I
mean, if you, I guess
one.
Like heading to this place, I'd definitely be interested in sort of knowing about approaches and like potential ambush points and escapes and things like that. So if Boniface could be in a position to watch the approaches and warn, maybe that would be useful. But up to you. Whatever.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm down with that. I would like. Cool. Yeah, basically, I just like sneaking around in cities. I've got this. When we leave a city, I can't use my stealth urban anymore. I'll be stealth basic, and so I'm like, while I'm in there,
what do you use it? Yeah, that
makes sense. Exactly.
Henrik, what's your intention then?
My intention is to, if I can, go early and try and find. If it's slightly underground, it's a bit more difficult, but try and find a place that's a distance away that I can see the meeting and potentially attack from a distance if it is a trap, but also try and get eyes on whether they've also got someone watching to see if it's a trap.
You go have a little look around the area earlier on. You don't really, it's not like you're tramping around everywhere. You don't want to make it obvious, but you have a quick glance sort of thing before sunset, and you notice that obviously it's across the river. So you could cross at a bridge a bit further up and perhaps sit in something like a boat on the riverside on the far side, which would let you be at the same level as the group almost, or a bit below them perhaps slightly, and you could see the other side of the river, and you wouldn't think anyone would notice you there because it's a little distance away, and you could perhaps get a shot across the river too, but getting to the group would be harder. Probably the only way you could easily see what was going on, because from any other angle the kind of piers over the top block your view, if you see what I mean. So if you want to do that, that's great, but otherwise you'd have to probably be close to the group. Or not see
what if I stand on the pier and look down?
Where they are, there's kind of a massive piers, so they're underneath those. So you could be on the piers, but you wouldn't be able to see what was going on down there. You could kind of peer around the side of the pier and see a bit of it, maybe, but that would look pretty weird because you'd be like hanging off the side.
He'd do it. I'm just saying.
Spider Henrik.
It's fine if you just want to join the group.
Or be with Boniface.
Like stealthy with
Boniface. Yeah.
Okay. So first things first, just so I can get a feel for how obvious you're being. Henrik and Boniface, give me that stealth roll.
Okay.
It's dark. It's mucky. It's wet. Plus 20.
Does this count as underground?
Yes.
Excellent.
It's similar enough to underground, this environment.
So I rolled. It's plus 20. I rolled 7 successes.
Stealth Boniface. No one has seen a servant this stealthy.
I don't get to see him much either.
Boniface just disappears.
Good servants neither seen nor heard.
I don't do as well. I spend my last reroll and succeed by 1 success level.
Got it. Better hope there's not any more crucial rolls there. Okay. So Henrik, you think you're doing a fairly good job. You've got cloak over. You're kind of hiding in the shadows, and then you just can't see Boniface. He's just gone. You have no idea where he is. And then
down here.
Yeah, and then you get a small noise of Boniface just like making himself apparent to you in a quiet way, so you know where he is, and it's like you can't even see him. You have no idea how he's done that.
Amazing.
Flicks a piece of gravel at you or something.
Yeah. So you two are both tracking, keeping an eye on the group, staying a bit behind, basically. Kruger, Okri, you're not trying to be stealthy at all. You're just marching in there, right? With torch and weapons out, armor on. What sort
of? I'll have my armor on. and I've got my Warhammer handy, I think.
But not handy, of course. I mean, it's difficult to hold a torch in a Warhammer, I suppose. And similar, I imagine, Okri.
Yeah, I think Okri's constantly wearing his leather jerkin, pretty much, which is the only armor that he has. But yeah, I think Warhammer not out but prepared. Well, Hammer not out but prepared.
Gotcha. All good. Okay. So yeah, you tramping a bit over. You kind of go over a little like old like wooden bridge for a while. Okri, you have dark vision. Give me a perception roll. It's a flat perception roll. No,
I have night vision, but terrible perception.
No, it's a plus 20. Plus 20.
Okay. Succeed.
Okay. Okri, you're just behind Kruger, and you just notice something on the ground in front of him that looks dangerous.
I'll sort of put a hand on his arm. Not make any. I know we're not trying to be particularly stealthy, but still, I won't make a noise. I'll just point.
Yeah, what you're pointing at in front of you now, you can both kind of see it in the light just about. Looks like in front of you is not the ground. It is in fact some sort of material that's been laid over the ground.
Sneaky.
Henrik, do you have dark vision as well, or night vision? Can't remember what it's called. Roll me perception. This is going to be a hard. So it's going to be
Boniface does.
minus. Oh, you both do. Minus 40 perception roll for both of you.
In that case, I have no chance of succeeding.
Crit.
You can roll a crit.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a
Minus
pretty
40, you
damn
say?
challenging one. Yeah.
Yeah, I fail.
I do not.
Yeah, that's fair. That was a really hard one. It would have been exceptional.
If only it had a reroll.
I've got a reroll, but I think I can add. I just don't think it's gonna. I don't think I'm gonna reroll.
You don't
so
really
low.
care, do you?
No,
I've got to reroll a crit, and I think
this is one of those story-changing sort of perception moments, so it's all good. It's like it's hard to achieve. At the front, are you pulling up the material, looking around? What's the tension?
How big is the area that this is covering? Is it step overable?
It's 10 foot by 10 foot square right on the end of the bridge.
Okay. Cursory glance around, and then
yeah. I mean, I'll give you the
suggest that we move it.
I'll give you the same perception roll with a minus 40 for that cursory glance around. Not for you, Kruger, sorry. With the torchlight and your non-dark vision, you have no hope.
No.
Yeah, not surprising. You don't see anything obvious. Yeah, and then you're going to just lift up this material, have a look at it.
Shall we?
Why not? I presume we were meant to fall, but...
If it's 10 foot by 10 foot, I suppose we could each grab a corner.
Yep.
Sort of pull it.
I will look behind me, just,
You don't see Henrik or Boniface. They're both successfully stealthed away.
No, more in terms of like people rushing up and
No, there's no sound. It's quiet at this point, and you don't see anyone. And presumably Henrik and Boniface are behind you, you hope. So if they're there, you'd think you were safe. Yeah, you both grab a corner, and the material is kind of braced together by some very flimsy twigs and basically just flops as soon as you lift it. And indeed, there is a great big pit right there in front of the bridge that's been dug, clearly been dug hastily, is partly filled and filling with water, mucky and filled with rotten, horrible-looking spiky wood. Someone actually dug a silly pit trap for you, and it looks very unpleasant.
I'll just sigh and probably ready my weapon, which, yes, could be interesting given the torch situation.
Can we see what's going on there?
Yeah, you can see them with the torch. At the lifting of the material, you hear a distant echoing voice and splashing footsteps go, Thing's supposed to be dead! And we'll end the session there.
If only we knew what that would mean.
Cool.
It's a total mystery. No one could possibly imagine what these things could be. I mean, I don't know. My secrets have been flawless in this game.
Cool.
Cool. That was fun.
Wow.
Everything's fine.
Because you're not
Perfectly
dead,
fine.
so that's a good start.
I don't know why they like Kruger doesn't know about rats. So
We would have known even less about rats if he'd been impaled through the face with a spike.
true.
I feel like all the city-going folk might have an inkling, but Kruger just no idea. Never heard of them at all, probably.
Which is absurd because you've heard of giant
Beastmen.
goat, cow,
But think about what's
bullmen.
what's in your environment. You know, you never really interacted with them, and you didn't know them. Kruger's never really has been. He's not a city sort, you know.
Just saying, it's not a huge leap of imagination.
But rats, though, you know.
Yeah, true. It's not like they're like cat people or whatever.
Depends how far east you go. Warhammer has
Is that
nearly
actually a thing?
Warhammer has nearly everything people if you go to them. I mean, the type of people.
In the east, they do all kinds of weird stuff out there.
There's
Like
nearly
neither are
everything.
lizard people.
Yeah, there's lizard men. There's nearly everything.
Always
people in
lizard men.
Warhammer.
Excellent.
That was
Well,
fun.
that
Cheers,
was
guys.
good. Thank you very much, Sam.
Do we have any comments,
Sam.
questions, or anything in chat?
Can you trade? I mean, Jesus Christ, John.
What? Oh.
You wanted to go to the market. Don't give me ideas.
Oh dear.
For context, for people watching this later, Steve said, "You've just found out you can buy a monkey for 10 gold coins."
I'm not sure you could sell Boniface for 10 gold coins. I mean, that's quite a lot of money.
I mean, we'll all agree on that. Like, that's not a fair. You can't compare Boniface to a monkey. That's not a fair comparison. How is Boniface supposed to win against that? The monkey's entertaining,
Exotic.
got more teeth.
Better at cooking.
Probably a better fighter.
Well, look.
They hold their drink better.
What I absolutely love about it is that servants do cooking roles as part of their trade, and their trade skill is endurance. So the way that they cook, it's like it will be edible. It might not be very tender, but it'll be edible.
Well, it sounds like it'll be very tender. That's the one thing it will succeed at being if it's endurance.
Dear.
Oh gosh. That was a fun session.
It really was. This was your Vars session, wasn't it? You were expecting us to go off and do stuff, and then we spent the entire time doing something else.
Perfect. I mean, my planned end for the session was that, and there was just other things I might have introduced, but the drinking filled like more than half the session, and that's great. It was such a good scene. It was very Warhammer, so I'm very happy. I feel
Night Bites says, "Love an RPG with a system for getting steaming drunk."
I know it's perfect.
It's
I'm so sorry, Jonny, for Ockery. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it was so.
Ockery.
It was his that was like one of the most defining days of his life, you know, when he gets signed off officially. What, like nearly 50 years or something, or is it over 50 years? And now that
First
That's
dwarf he
finished
could celebrate it with, and celebrations go too far.
But who didn't have finishing sixth form and then going straight to the pub, and then probably everyone ending up who was drinking and legally old enough to drink, just throwing up everywhere?
I mean, what we don't know is Ockery legally old enough to drink?
He's a dwarf.
I think he's
of course
past
he's
that
legally old enough to drink.
From the moment a dwarf has like fuzz, I think that's probably the rule.
Get calipers
Wait.
out.
What about female dwarves?
Female dwarves get fuzz. Many female dwarves can grow beards,
Fair enough.
just not
Awesome.
quite so luscious.
We also have some solidarity from Night Bites, giving you a bit of a cover there, suggesting a bodily aversion to that specific type of liquor.
That's right. It was the horrible human ale.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Ockery sees a pan. Oh, this human shit's not what it's going to be. Drinks an ale. Oh, this human shit's not what
If
it's
you'd
going to be.
if you'd had a pint of Bugman's, you would have been having a great night. See,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll have to get some Bugman's in this game some point. Bugman's gives you, well, it also gives you like regenerative abilities. It's like really powerful ale. I know it's ridiculous. So you get like you heal.
It's good
from
for you.
the
Like
ale.
it's like
literally
Guinness.
good for you. Yeah.
Also, solidarity from Don't Kick Food.
Thanks everyone.
Oh no.
Where else are we? Oh, and hello from Lord Malice.
Hey, Lord Malice. Thanks for all the support.
you.
Nice to see ya.
Cool.
And yes, thanks to
yes.
Lord Malice for resubscribing. And we had a follow from Raskaboos as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cool. That's about everything then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thanks very much for joining us, folks. That was a lot of fun this session. We're getting into stuff now. We might be starting to find, well, I'd say we're finding the mystery. You're probably not really understanding what the linkages behind all these things are. There's just stuff going on. But starting to find out maybe some things that are behind it, perhaps. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'm looking forward to continuing. So join us next week for some more Warhammer. And check out our other series as well, Telling Tales, which are currently Into the Odd Wednesdays, Wraith on Thursdays, and kind of World of Darkness Extended. We do one-shots now and then every month on the weekends. And yeah, Telling Tales. Check out our social media. Check us out on YouTube and Twitch. You'll be on one already. See you, folks. Thanks for joining us.